What is up, YouTube? I see why you envy me here, and I'm back on Mass Effect Andromeda because I was really stoked about the patch that they brought out. They buffed so many of the weapons and powers in multiplayer, and it made it really fun, really much more fast-paced, and they also brought out this guy. Now, as soon as I looked at this guy, I'm like, wow, that guy is a great character because of his powers that he has. They complement each other well, and he's got a couple builds you can do with him. For instance, I elected to go away from Recon Visor because most of the perks in it aren't really worth it. But if you wanted to run a sniper build with this guy, then yeah, you probably want to spec into Recon Visor. But it gets the job done. Having 1 point in it pretty much does everything that the rest of the perks do, except for, it lasts longer or he sees further. It's not really worth going down the tree, and so the build I'm going to go with, I've been playing him on gold since level 1, but this is roughly the build I'm going to go with. I don't have these last 2 levels yet because I need 2 more levels, and I actually just finished the game that I'm going to attach to him. So weapons wise, I like to play him close range. I've used a lot of different weapons on him. The Hesh, the Talon, the Ushior. They buffed a lot of guns, so a lot of guns complement Flamethrower really well because it's up close. You want to use your up close weapon to finish anything off that Flamethrower doesn't kill because Flamethrower is overpowered. And then in combination with Tactical Cloak, giving it 100% more power damage, it does pretty much everything you'll need it to do against an enemy or a group of enemies if you're lucky enough to get a group together. So these are the weapons I chose ultimately because the Piranha actually kills faster than any other gun on him. The Disciple kills pretty quick. I enjoyed that one a lot. They gave it 2 more bullets in the clip, and it hits for over 1,000 a bullet, so 6,000 damage per clip. It's kind of ridiculous. So now let's go ahead and get into his powers. Naturally, I said I spec'd out a Recon Visor, even though he's the first character to have it, because most of the things in here just increase what it already does. So I mostly use it just to be able to see where enemies are located. And it can shoot through small walls or cover. You don't have to worry about something being tucked behind a wall. But of course, Tactical Cloak, we're going to run this the same way we pretty much run Tactical Cloak. So I like to go, of course, gun damage, power damage, because that gives you more DPS. The power damage off of the Flamethrower out of the cloak is plus 100% once it's maxed out. It's kind of ridiculous. And then I like the movement speed because, like I said, he's a close range character. He's got Flamethrower. You want to get up in things' faces. And you don't need the duration because you get a duration perk in another tree. So you don't really need this duration. Plus it lasts like 10 seconds before you get that duration perk. Or I think it's like 10 seconds after all the duration perks are added up. But it's more than enough. You don't need the duration. I like the movement speed. And then of course, cloak duration after it breaks. This gives you basically like 3 seconds. You can get your whole Piranha clip off. You can get a good 3 seconds of burn damage from your Flamethrower off with this. So this is definitely the way you really want to go. You don't need this unless you just cannot stay alive. This is a useless perk, and the way I'm going with this build, you won't need it anyway because of the support system perk that I'm going to pick when I get to level 6 on that. Flamethrower. Now, the original way I built Flamethrower, I went for this damage output from enemies 50% less, which it doesn't eat through armor fast enough. Like playing Outlaw with this eating through all the armor enemies is so amazing, especially because they buffed it from 75 to 80% more damage off of it. So of course we're going to go for 25% more damage. You want it doing as much damage as possible. 35% more damage. I was looking at the wrong perk, sorry. And then you don't really need the recharge speed. You honestly don't want to let this burn all the way. Like, just hold the button until it burns out. Unless you got a big group of enemies you're burning with it. On a single enemy or 2 enemies, you just want to burn them enough to usually panic them or get the burn to start burning on them for extra damage. And then you kind of want to start shooting them. So you really want to go, and the longer you hold it, the longer it takes to recharge. Is why I'm saying that. The shorter duration that you use it, the faster it comes back. So you want to go for this 35% more damage to get that damage on them as fast as possible. And I believe that increases not only the burn damage while you're burning them, but the burn damage after you stop actually hitting them with the Flamethrower. You don't need the damage radius. I'm pretty sure that just increases the area around where it hits. It's not worth it. It hits a big area and you can just move it really easily anyway. So damage over time. More damage. Flamethrower lasts longer so you can burn things longer. This is the way you want to go with this. And then of course this, because I was thinking about it and I was like, they've nerfed the Ket like a lot. I read the percentages they've nerfed them. You can get through the shields on some of the enemies so much quicker, and there's not that many armored enemies in Ket, so this would be the only time to really go for this. But there are a lot of armored enemies in Revenant and Outlaw. So I went for the 80% damage versus armor, so it gives you 105% total more damage against armor, so you've effectively doubled your damage when you shoot at an armor target, which it burns through everything except the Hydra really fast, and it still burns through the Hydra really fast. But I think they gave the Hydra like a 68% buff to his armor or health. I'm not sure. Comment down below if I'm wrong, but I think they did. I don't remember every little detail of the patch. I didn't even know they buffed the weapons until I started looking at the weapons. Apex training. Now, of course, you want to go for this because this character, like I said, he's got a couple builds you can do with him. He's an infiltrator, so he can be a really good gun damage character, and gun damage always is good. That way you can be doing more damage with your guns. And, of course, you get gun damage, power damage, gun damage capacity on the first 3 levels. So no matter what, you want to put 3 points into this, even if you decide, for some reason, not to go for Apex training. You want these first 3 perks because that's 10% more gun damage and 15% power damage. You want that. Now, this is up to you whether or not you're running like a sniper build. You probably want to go for the gun damage over the power damage. But like I said, I like using the flamethrower because it's fun to burn everything. So, power damage for me. Gun damage I could see if you're like decide to run a recon visor sniper build, because I was thinking about that. That would be the time that I would use that and then just clean up things to get close to me with flamethrower. But power damage, definitely power damage. You don't need this perk ever. I wish they would honestly take it out the game. I have never seen anybody use it. It's a waste of space. So you get the weapon, headshot, and spare ammo. Of course, this makes you do more damage, and you have more ammo, so you don't have to go to the box as much. Since he runs around flamethrower and things, you don't really have to go to the box that much as it is, so you now have to go less. Now these perks, like I said, do you want to be a weapon damage or a power damage guy? Because like a flamethrower does a lot of damage, especially to any foot soldiers. The bigger enemies, it is a little bit harder to get through them. Destroyers and what are they? The things with the bubble around them for the Ket, they're a little harder to get through. The Hydras also, so you might want to go for that just so you can shoot them, but I prefer the power damage. Once again, burning everything. Keep it just like if you get a group of enemies, which usually you'll get 2 or 3 at a time. It's really easy to. You want that flamethrower to take them out. It's just faster kills. And then you get the weapon weight capacity so you can hold the heavier guns like the Piranha. I couldn't hold the Piranha and the Talon, I think, until I got this because the Piranha is heavy. And then, of course, the duration, the tech duration. That's why I went for this. I remember now. The visor, the cloak, and the flamethrower all benefit from this tech duration, so you definitely want that. That's 20% more to all 3 of those. That's why the duration buffs that you get in these you get one in support systems, I think, for 30%. So you definitely want those because that you don't have to go for the duration perks in those powers then if you don't want to. And then support systems. I wanted this mostly for the shields, but he also gets the shield regen, makes him tanky. He stays alive. He's an infiltrator, so he stays alive extremely well. If you start dodging around, enemies start missing because you go invisible while you dodge. If you cloak, they stop looking at you. They will hit you now. I think they changed it to where they will hit you now if you're right in their face. I don't remember that happening before the patch, but it's not a big deal because the cloak still does what it needs to do. And then melee damage, you have to get through perk 3 to get over here, so all effect durations again. Here we go. All 3 powers get this, so you definitely want to go for that, and you do not need 40% more melee damage on him. He is not a melee character. This is the perk I'm going for right now. I haven't spent the 5 points yet, but I want that movement speed to get closer to him faster. With flamethrower, that's 30% more movement speed when I'm in my cloak, which means I'm running really fast. Plus you get health and shields, so you're more tanky. This perk, I always tell people should be able to stay alive on their own. You don't need, I rarely ever have to revive people, and if I do, I don't really have trouble getting away usually. Every now and then you do go down when you get someone up. It's when you get someone up in a stupid way, though, that happens. This perk, it's just not worth it for how situational it is. Somebody has to be dead for you to get this perk, and then you have to go get them up. What if they're across the map or something, If someone goes down right next to you, which usually I'm not camping next to my teammates because I like to move around a lot. This perk is just, in my opinion, useless. Don't go for it. Go for the health, shield, and the movement speed. That way you're staying alive longer and you're getting closer to them faster to burn them, because you want to burn them a lot. Now for my last perk, both these perks are good. They both make you more tanky. This, now that they buffed the Hydra to shoot faster and hit harder, because it does shoot faster and hit harder now, this wouldn't be bad if you're flamethrowing a Hydra to keep it from killing you as fast. You probably still die because that's how much more damage it does. But I prefer this. That way when you trigger your flamethrower, or you trigger your cloak, or you trigger your visor, because all three of his powers are tech, you have a chance every 10 seconds, if it's been 10 seconds, you have the 100% chance of getting your shield back. So you definitely want to go for this. That makes you more tanky, it makes you stay alive, and he's already hard to kill as it is, because like I said, he's an infiltrator. So, you know, the invisible thing makes him hard to kill. But that is the way I'm going with this build. Oh, I gotta save that. Alright, so the gear I usually use is the efficiency, so I can get my cloak back. He gets it back a lot. You will see me cloak spamming in the video I'm attaching to this. He also will get his flamethrower back more and his visor back more. So all your powers are coming back. And they're powers you kind of want to spam, because the visor gives you information on where enemies are, and the cloak the cloak gives you extra damage, and then the flamethrower burns everything dead for you. And then the second thing I like to use, I honestly prefer over rail amps, the ammo powers. Incendiary rounds hit armor so much harder than, I swear, than the rail amps do. And it also adds the burn damage. It looks cooler when the bullets hit them. I don't know. I usually run incendiary ammo with that, because you can't run tech damage and tech regen. And for his permanent armor, now this I love, and I really hope they don't change later, because these kits have all been buffed. This has 30% more tech power damage on it. They used to be 15, but they've been buffed to the biotic one, 30%, the combat power one. Are you kidding me? Because like on the frag grenades and the sticky grenades, they destroy things so fast. But yeah, this is the one you want to run on him. That way your flamethrower for this build is doing more damage. Now if you do decide to go with the recon visor sniper build, of course you're going to go with gorilla upgrade for sniper damage, and you probably wouldn't spec into flamethrower for that. But you can also, like I said, if you want, you can ignore support systems, because there's nothing in there you really need. There's just things that make him better, more tanky, and stay alive longer. So you don't really need anything in there, because you should be able to stay alive without being a super tank anyway. You can go ahead and max out recon visor. But that's the way I want to play him. That's my build for it. Let me know if you like it. Do the like, comment, subscribe thing, guys. I'm going to attach a game with it. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it.
Sometimes we forget why we're here. It's easy to fall off track. These help us remember.
These battle scars don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Growing up, I had a dream, something no one else could see. Tell me what it means when your faith is falling beneath your knees and you can't breathe. Everything you see reminds you of what you're not or something you won't be. You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in a business. Not because they wanna do it, just because they heard it pays. And who the fuck wants to be poor knowing that's how we've been raised? Society is getting heavy, I can feel the weight. The pressure of success is like 100 million pounds of shame. And that's the reason I'm staying up late, trying to find a way to escape the stereotypes this day and age is making me feel like the only way I'll be happy is getting signed to a label and making money through rapping. I wanna share my emotion because this world is attacking the very principle of life that lets the people be happy. If you don't have a reason to breathe, why even live? These battle scars are impressions of everything that it is.
Don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Now if I had a voice that reached 100 million people, I'd tell them there's a reason that we're all created equal. Cause some decide to be great and some decide a sequel to an average person's life is simply what they want to be. So you make your decision, all I know is what I'm given. Won't define the life I lead or the way I dwell in existence. I've seen a greater image on the walls of where I'm living, and the words twisted and scripted remind me of something written. Faith is a gift that is given down to the people. If one believes it, one receives it. It's given if it is needed. Don't ever think you're trapped in a life that you never wanted. Your options are infinite, that's some mathematical logic. I'm not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers and these battle scars on my church. Not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers, these battle scars on my church.
Don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles. Hydra!